Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy yet again. Long-time comic book industry veteran for 30 whole years. Oofa. A lot of pages, a lot of mileage, but a lot of fun. And I spent the rest of my life prior as a fanboy. You know what's weird about comics and me personally? You got a minute? Funny thing is, and this is the truth, I have zero recollection of my childhood before I discovered comics. And I don't know what it was. It's like I seem to remember around 19, I don't know, sometime in like 72 or 73, I got an occasional comic book and I would read them vigorously. And, I was too little to go bicycling everywhere. And then the bug really hit me when I spent the summer of 74 with my grandparents down in Lakeland, Florida, at their trailer, and down they had this orange grove across the way. It was like a community orange grove, and Mum and Pup, that's what their names were, they grew like lemon and lime and mango, like little trees in their yard, and it was pretty cool. Found that they got me that Spider-Man Treasury Edition #1, and I was hooked. And I got a few other books after that, but I have zero recollection of anything that happened that wasn't comic book related back then. It was like an awakening. Isn't that crazy? But that's okay. Got a lot of good memories. So let's get down to Reid Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman. Eclipse Comics. Eclipse and First Comics really. Dark Horse came out about the same time, a little later. It's a shame that neither First or Eclipse aren't around anymore, because Eclipse especially was like the gold standard as far as variety. Like they just did all kinds of different things, just a little of everything, and different. They would do reprints of classic old comic strips that most people buying comics at the time wouldn't even know who they were. They would do these. Trading card sets, and they did have their own superheroes eventually, but they did have stuff like Reid Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman, and it's just an insane book. There's no real punchline to any of these. It's just that he's an unapologetic bastard, and hey, Mr. O'Clock, sir. Hey, Crab, catch. Damn you, Fleming. I love the lettering. So, just another day at the office. The penumbra. So, what's stunning is, the artwork on it stands alone on its own, but the lines on these characters. I'm trying to zoom in. I got the wrong. There we go. He got his milk truck stuck in a pool, and I love this. They're all pissed off, understandably. Hey, there's been kids in this water. So he lassos the milk truck from the pool using one branch to pull the whole thing up, and he's kind of magic that way. He just does it because it's just up and over. So look at that. I love that line work. Wow. It's totally total lunacy, but it's in the best possible way. And it's like there are either people who haven't read Reid Fleming and there are fans of Reid Fleming. There's no in between. It's just wild. It's just kooky. Tremendous fun. I don't know if they have a collection of it or not, but this was one of those books. I think it lasted 12 issues, maybe. I don't know. It wasn't monthly, but it doesn't matter. But going to monthlies, give me a second. I'll just entertain you this way. Not quite. So, Saga of the Submariner. Now, this was a 12-issue miniseries that actually Roy Thomas wrote it with his wife Dan, and it's drawn by Rich Buckler, who he knows he knows Marvel Comics so well, and he's done a billion swipes back in the 70s. But at the time, we didn't think any of it. I mean, it was like we wanted those swipes, as absurd as it sounds. It was like comfort food. But later on, Buckler did go in. He could always draw. He drew when he came on Avengers. He wasn't swiping anybody. He kind of came informed with a lot of talent, and he just saw that Marvel was needing to get. They wanted him to get more Kirby, and he did that with the FF and Avengers Annual and some other stuff. But anyway, all through the 80s, Buckler was pretty much gone from Marvel. I mean, most of it. What happened, I'm not sure quite what happened, but it was like the last time I remember seeing his work for Marvel was couple of issues of What If. Like issue 25 and issue 30 and some other stuff. But he went to... what is it? Red Circle Comics with the Shield and the Fly and the Jaguar and all that. And he was the big boss man. He was like the writer, the editor, the artist. Basically he was maybe the publisher. I don't know. I mean, maybe everything's short of a publisher. He was the editor in chief. And he oversaw a lot of books, and he didn't draw every one of them, but he was always around the indie scene in the 80s. A lot of people hired him to do just covers or even ink a cover. So you saw a lot of Buckler all over the place with big names and small companies, some overnight operations, and anyway, he returns to Marvel. This is post Jim Shooter. This is Tom DeFalco. A lot of creators that left Marvel when Shooter came along, and then Shooter left. They came back. You got Gene Colan coming back on Black Panther storyline in Marvel Comics Presents. You got Roy Thomas back with his wife Dan, and Rich Buckler, and a whole bunch of other people. So it's pretty interesting. So I'm just telling you the facts. I'm not taking sides at all. So this is there you are right there. And Mike Gustovich is the inker. Mike Gustovich, he's known most for, I think, what is it? Justice Machine. That's right. I think he did a lot of indie stuff too. He also did Elementals and some other. I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head, but very talented guy. He's one of those guys who's very talented, and he's good that like he kind of sits in the shadows. It's like he's another great solid draftsman, but he doesn't have that flair that everybody either wants or I'm not really describing this well. He's a good artist. He's just not appreciated, I guess is the way I'm saying it. Well, this is during the invasion of FF Annual number 1. Come on, focus, dude. What is wrong? Here we go. This is from Fantastic Four 14. And, it's a perfect matchup because Roy's got an encyclopedic knowledge of the Marvel Universe. And these panels are, with the Hulk, are mostly swiped from the Kirby original issues. That middle one isn't a swipe. That's really sweet. And that's a very Gil Kane pose there. But he uses all these tools. And if you're going to retell a story, it's okay to add some panels that pay homage to the style like that. That was a very little panel in Avengers number 3, but it got blown up, and Buckler knows his anatomy, and it works. It's good stuff. I love that too. Something Kirby did for the shadow. But anyway, this is 12 issues. There's a lot going on, and very exciting. It's been collected in a trade paperback, by the way. And pretty neat, huh? Only thing is the printing's kind of wonky because, like, look at Submariner's hair there. You can see where the black ink stops, and then there's just gray from the paper. That's a drag. So it goes all the way to when he rescues Captain America. So what's amazing is Roy Thomas took Submariner from the Bill Everett beginnings to right up at this point in 1989, Marvel time that is. And it's really, really cool. And here's the thing. When John Byrne did the Hidden Years, I liked it. It was a little too decompressed for my taste, only because of the subject matter. Like, the dork inside of me, the king lord of dorks that is deep within my belly, he wants to see, like, issue 67 through 93 done by Roy Thomas and anybody else. It's like, so they could they can map out where the Amazing Adventure stories with the Beasts are. They can map out when Cyclops, Iceman, and Marvel Girl help out Captain America, and the Beast beating the Hulk and all that, and they just have it like kind of meet right up to Giant Size X-Men 1, and that would be great. But however, I do have the Hidden Years by Byrne, and it's a shame they canceled it early. Supposedly it was due to low sales, but I call bullshit, because their official, they also said, well, we're putting out too many X-Men books right now. It'll cause marketplace confusion. Well, they canceled this book and replaced it with like at least 2 X-Men books. So I think there's just been bad blood between Quesada and Byrne for whatever reason, So it's a shame, but that stuff happens. Moving on. So this is really nice shape. I actually had this in my collection, and I think I bought this in San Diego. When I sold all my books in 86, and then I went to San Diego in 95, first time ever, as a professional too. And, so they had a lot of dealers at the time. It wasn't all Hollywood and stuff like that. A lot of comic dealers pulled out of San Diego Con because Wizard Magazine and some other companies would have like this San Diego Con 1990 or 2025 exclusive comic of whatever, the Hulk, and people would spend their money there, and they wouldn't have money for the regular dealers who dragged their shit halfway across the country. So and I have no interest to go in there anymore for that reason. Even if I could, it sells out immediately. Okay, rant. Sorry about being so negative, but I'm just blowing up. I don't know. I'm freestyling is what I'm doing here. Now, this is by some youngster named Craig Russell, before he became P. Craig Russell, and with a thankful assist from John Romita, because this is probably his first. He had done some short stories. I think this is his first full Marvel comic. So, because you'll see he borrows some images from previous books, and I don't know quite what yet, but oh man, but he's doing a great job. I love it. I really like I think, is Esposito ink in it? Yeah, him and Giacoya, that's right. Team Supreme. Yeah, a little bit of who doesn't love villains with slobber? And dig that car, man. Wow, amazing foreshortening there. It probably works, because sometimes perspective, you might see stuff in real life and you thought, if I drew it, it would look fake. And so sometimes you have to move things around and change things just to sell it. So there's Whiplash as his, his regular guys. I can't remember what his name is. Mark. And really, what I do like, though, is these scenes here. P. Craig Russell, he's changing gears. It's like a few pages earlier, he was showing Whiplash, very violently destroying this statue of Iron Man in a fly. And then when it comes to the personal stuff, this almost has like a a romance comic feel to it, and it changes the tempo a little bit. It kind of goes into slice of life stuff, and then we go back into superhero stuff. That's a magnificent pose. I love that. I love that. When somebody puts weight on one foot or whatever, and it's just, if it's done right, it's cool. If not, it looks awful. So that, I love that. Just a little touch. And I love Tuska, but he doesn't draw interesting women. I mean, he makes them punch good and kick good and fly and everything, but he's not really a romance artist, and he's not really. He just likes slugfest, and that's why I liked him when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I was like, girls are icky. I like superheroes. I didn't have a brain in my head. What comics have awoken something in me? That is really great, and that hitting the repulsor rays, really cool. I love seeing stuff of little junior woodchuck artists becoming major talents. Takes off his glove. Does the old blind him in the face. Now that's kind of cool. It is so rare that a comic would have just a white panel, even if there's a bright light, and there's no words either. Nice touch. You don't see that a lot. Sometimes Gary Conway, he didn't write this, but sometimes when Gary Conway would do an issue of Spider-Man, he would have like a silent panel, and he would save it for something poignant. So I'm going to throw these things at him. They're kind of like the Wizards discs, flying discs, but they're magnetic. They're pointing to carry me away. And knockdown, dry out fight. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. And we get The Shadow. Howard Chaykin's The Shadow. How magnificent is that? Whew. In the mid-'80s, actually in the early 80s, a lot of big, awesome creators went self... they did create their own books. Howard Chaykin did American Flag, which I bought and I enjoyed that. Jim Starlin did Dreadstar. I'm trying to think who else. Mike Grell did John Sable Freelance, which is a magnificent book. I really recommend it. The first series, they relaunched it and just called it Sable. Crap. And there was a couple other, but what happened is DC was kind of wooing some of these people back, and I guess they offered Howard Chaykin, freedom to do what he wanted to do on this version of The Shadow. So it meant more creative control, artistic control, and it pays better. I'll be frank. I mean, he's even admitted that he loved doing it. It's just that he had to eventually, make some good money while he was still viable, and I totally get that. And Mike Grell went over to Green Arrow. And it happened on quite a few people, like Steve Rude. He left Nexus and he did some a Batman and Superman team up, World's Finest issue 1 through 3 square-bound editions. Each issue 48 pages, really good stuff. So it's an unfortunate thing, but that's, as long as these artists are so great, it's like I just appreciate them in any format. So let me put it that way. I didn't know how to wrap that up, so I'm just babbling. The lettering is by Ken Brusnick, who, I'm probably butchering his name. He lettered all of Howard Chaykin's American Flag issues, and it lasted 50 issues. The first 3 years were done by Chaykin, and then the second year was done by Stephen Grant and Mark Badger, and it was pretty good. Now you might say, "Oh, this is a talking head scene," but Chaykin's got. He brings on the snark, but he also brings on a lot of information. Now you're saying, "Oh, Dark Knight." No. He was doing this in '83 with American Flag, years before Miller decided to do 16 panel pages, and such style. Something I love. That's what really drew Chaykin to me, was his. It just was so. It's still great. It's just so audacious. I love the colors. I think, did he do the colors? I gotta look. Hang in there, everybody. Alex Wald. Hey, hats off to you, Alex. I'm sorry I didn't know your name. Love that. That almost has like a feel like those Ralph Bakshi movies, like Heavy Metal and what's the other one? Rock and Roll, which is really fun stuff. And sound effects are by basically Chaikin would lay out how he'd like the sound effects, or he would tell Ken Brusnick what he would like, and always integrating it into the art. I love that. But ow, you know, clunk, 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 but. That's such great. I mean, let me zoom in on that. There we go. Spankle, tinkle, spinkle. Magnificent stuff. And later on, you'd see people like Chris Iliopoulos develop this sort of style. And John Workman also did similar work, but it was the two, both he and Ken Brusnick had their distinct styles. I mean, nobody was copying from anybody. It was just a matter of incorporating the lettering cleverly into the art, making the words and pictures art. I love it. Garish blacks on there. That's such a great face there. Great smile. Or is it a smirk? I like right there, the guy in the middle. I like the loose lines. That's stuff I would have loved to have done more of, but I kind of got painted in the corner as a clean inker, meaning I trace real well. I've always wanted to do more, like more random loose stuff. So, but that's okay. Now, from the damn good to the woof, I mean, this is like it's the end of the 70s, and it feels ragged. Actually, this copy's pretty crappy. No wonder I got it for $0.25. Spider-Man and the Beast Marvel Team Up was kind of really... It lasted till 150 issues, which just stuns me. It must be the power of the Spider-Man, because this is issue 90. You had a good run about a year or two prior with Chris Claremont and John Byrne, and then you had mediocrity on parade. Now, towards... this was just kind of... this is Milgram and Jack Abel. And at the end of the 70s, they just were kind of... Marvel was just kind of grinding its wheels and just kind of putting out, oh, we got to get this out. Okay, well, I'll do this. Okay. It almost seems like some of these stories are a chore for the artists, and because there's not a lot of inspiration. Mike Vosberg's the interior artist. He's inked by Bob McLeod, spelled McLeod, but it just doesn't. Bob McLeod is such a fantastic inker, penciler, all of the above, and he can't elevate this book into being really, really that good. It's just another comic. That's all it is. It's another comic. Now, the starting off is not bad, but you'll see where, like Vosberg, he's moved on to like Hollywood and stuff like that. So, you know, that's what's amazing, because he has a good design sense. It's just I think he was extremely ill-suited for superhero comics, because he did She-Hulk for a long time, and like that. That's so awkward. You know, see what I'm saying? It's just kind of, it's just there. And it really looks like it was knocked out pretty quick. There aren't that many backgrounds in some of those pages. But possibly some artists will do a light page to get to a busy page, or busy page, and then reward themselves with a light page. Because if you're doing a monthly book, it's probably my favorite page of the issue. But it's just there. Stephen Grant wrote a good story. It's just, you know, again, you know, like a soft thump from left to right profile shot. these characters came from the Rampaging Hulk magazine back in. So this is just wow. It's a drag. Let's see. Is that good on my books? I did. Okay. Well, that's it, everybody. Let me know what your thoughts are, and have a good day. See ya.